Okay, so we're going to talk about the book. What else are we going to do?
We're going to talk about, I don't know, whatever comes up.
I'm going to take off my shirt over here.
Oh my
Let's talk about Matthias's good arms.
Your good arms. It's who you are. Let me get the recording. I'm loved by. Hold on, for the camera. I'm gonna kill you. Hi everyone, I'm Kevin. Let's talk about queer stuff in Jesus. And today I am joined. This is like a between two ferns setup. I'm joined by my friend Austen Hartke, who is a student of theology.
Accurate.
A baker.
Accurate.
Author of Transforming. Available on iTunes.
Oh wait, I think that's my phone going off. That's my T-shot reminder.
Your T-shot? Oh, your T-shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like,
it's fine. I can't do it. It's at home.
I'm like, T-shot? We're gonna drink tea?
Gotta drink tea. Gotta drink tea with T-shot.
What is the T for a trans?
A trans.
A trans.
The T is for trans, guys.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Let's start over.
Hi everyone, I'm Kevin. Let's talk about queer stuff in Jesus, and today I'm joined by my friend Austen Hartke.
Hi everybody, how's it going?
Author, speaker, presenter, baker, lover, fighter.
Ooh, yeah.
Author. Yeah, that's the one we want to talk about first. So let's get into it. Austen, you and I met
At the Reformation Project.
Which was like the weekend I was pretty much coming out to myself.
I remember that.
Which was insane.
It was great. Kevin cornered me on my way. You were on the way to the bathroom, and I was on the way back from the bathroom.
Oh,
and
cute.
Kevin came up to me in the hallway because I had just been on a panel. And Kevin came up to me and was like, he gave me this giant bear hug, and I was like, who is this guy? And
yeah, I wasn't really good in like the way of like personal boundaries at that point because I was still an evangelical.
Yeah, well, and I'm a Lutheran, so that I'm very like reserved, and we don't like show a lot of emotion. And so he came up and he like hugged me, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so glad, that was so great." And I was like, "Thanks. Who are you?" And then later on, I knew who he was because he was the guy sitting in front making all the like, "Yeah, tell him" movements, and I was just like, "Who's that down there making all the noise?"
Yeah, who's the woman on the front row crying her eyes out and wailing? So Austen,
yeah,
you are
a trans.
You're a trans.
Accurate. I'm a trans guy.
Okay, so this is gonna sound super basic, but like, how does that even work? Like, you know, it's like, haven't you read the Bible that God made Adam and Eve?
It's true. Only two, men and women. Those are your only options. So I was assigned female at birth, but then later on, I got to tell the doctors they were all wrong because I identify as a guy.
What?
Who knew? So that's how I came to be. And then in terms of the like Genesis thing, I mean, it's all in the book if you really want to know. It's right there. But yeah, so people sometimes will be like, so you can only be male or female. Those are your only two choices. And I'm like, okay, but Genesis also doesn't talk about all the other in-between spaces. Like Genesis 1 says like God separated the land and the water, and God separated the day from the night, but also we have like coral reefs and estuaries, and we have dusk and we have dawn, and God made the land mammals and God made the fish of the sea, but like we have the platypus, and where the heck are you going to put the platypus? So things exist that don't necessarily exist within the sort of poetic world of Genesis 1.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember from like a presentation I heard from Megan DeFranza about crustaceans. The reason that they're like outlawed in Levitical law is because of their in-betweenness, because they live in the sea but they crawl along the ground of the sea.
Right. So in Levitical law, in what we call the kashrut law or kosher law about what you can eat and what you can't eat, everything is divided into like clean. We would say in English clean or unclean, but really it's just like allowed and not allowed. There are things like crustaceans and basically anything that lives in the water that doesn't have gills and scales and fins, and like those are kind of your major things. So if you imagine like you're a fisherman, you're an ancient Hebrew fisherman, and you cast your net out and you get, yes, perfect, and then you bring your net in and you get a flounder, which is the kind of fish.
Shaking around.
Yep, and you get a jellyfish.
Stinging me, I'm dead now.
Yes, and you get a crab.
Not gonna steam that up.
No, probably
That's
not.
unclean.
So imagine you get those three things, right? The fish you're going to be able to eat because that's fine.
Delightful.
The crab you're not going to be able to eat, which is kind of a bummer because crab is gross. However, you also know you're not going to eat the jellyfish because the jellyfish might be dangerous to you, right? It might be poisonous, might be stinging. So the laws were created to help keep people safe. So that's why we have these sort of distinctions between things that are good and things that are bad, is to help keep people safe and healthy in the
Yeah,
world.
which is also why man shall not sleep with man.
Yeah, well...
Put that in a different video.
Yeah, I'll leave that one to you. That's your...
As far as like what people can expect from transforming, how about you describe it? Rather than me trying to describe what you've told me, describe what we've got going on in transforming.
Okay, so what we've got is, this is Transforming the Bible and the Lives of Transgender Christians, and essentially what I wanted to do was create a book that would address all these sort of theological concerns. My background is in Hebrew Bible or Old Testament, so that's like what I love to talk about most. So I went into the Old Testament, but also into the New Testament, and took a look at passages that have to do with gender and gender minorities in the Bible, because there are actually lots of people with diverse genders in the Bible that we just get like little snippets of. I wanted to talk about the Bible, but I also wanted to talk about gender diverse Christians living today and what their lives are like, and like people that are going through a call to ministry and want to be ordained, and like what's their life like. So it's basically a combination of biblical and modern narratives, and I put them together, but I tried to write it in a very like story narrative format so that it was easy for everybody to read.
Dope. Let me ask you this. When people like figure out that you're a transhuman, like what's the most annoying thing that they ask you? Or like, is there an annoying thing? Is there a frequently asked question?
Well, the most frequently asked question is the one that I talk about in the introduction to the book. So lots of people have this sort of quasi-Christian theology of like, God does everything for a reason. Like, there are biblical dimensions to that, but we don't deal with that sort of theology well. Because if we think about like, God makes everything happen for a reason, then why does God make terrible things happen to people, right? So there are bits of that are theologically sound and bits that we have to really sort of interrogate. But so sometimes people will say, well, like if God does everything for a reason and Psalm 139 says that we are like wonderfully made, then how can you, like, are you saying that God made a mistake with your gender? Like, are you saying that God made a mistake in you being assigned female at birth and now you're like fixing that mistake? But it's really kind of, it's not the right question to be asking. Not to say you shouldn't ask it, but like it's not a helpful question to ask.
Yeah.
Because what's going on is not that transgender people are being like, yes, I'm fixing something that went wrong when I was born. Some trans people feel that way, but like not the majority. The majority of trans people feel like, you know, this is my body and like I actually kind of like my body, but there are parts about it that I need to change for my own health. And all other kinds of people do that all the time. Like, we're not going to rag on people for getting LASIK eye surgery. Like, they're having a...
Mom!
Mom! Because like, people change their body for their own health and well-being all the time. And the reason that people have such a hard time with it with trans folks, I think, is that they have this idea about like, you shouldn't mess with what God has made a certain way. But like, we're all doing it. Not to say all body modification is good, but to say that like some people need to change things about their bodies to be healthy, well-rounded human beings in their lives. So like, that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that God was wrong. I think that I was made trans on purpose because God wanted me to have this experience. And some of the reasons for that, I think, like I'm coming to understand more about, and some of the reasons I will never get. But I think it was intentional.
I think that's what they call it a divine mystery.
Yes, exactly. Like, there's so many things. Sometimes people are like, well, how can we think or believe that people have gender identity? We can't see it. We can't test it. We don't know. And I'm like, we're Christians. We believe in a lot of things we can't see or prove. You know? Like when I think about like the mysteries that we have in Christianity, like Jesus being 100% God and 100% human, like that's 200%.
There's no way, there's no metric of doing that, or like literal virgin birth, literal death and resurrection. You can't prove that.
Yeah. So like, there are things that we believe about God because of the testimony that we receive from other people and through the Bible. So we should believe the testimony of people that are speaking about their own lives.
Damn, what a concept that would be, Barbara. I'm excited for your book. I think it's going to be rock and roll for so many people.
Thanks. I'm really excited about it.
So, Lena, where can people find you, connect with you, talk with you about trans things?
Trans things, yes. So my website is austenhartke.com.
It's gorgeous.
And it's AUSTENHARTKE.
Like the author, not the city.
Author, not the place in Texas.
Which is like the thing that I've remember from the first day that I met you.
Right? See, that's what I give people so that they'll like click and remember it. It's like probably the most useful thing I have on there is a huge list of trans faith resources that I update every 6 months. So like as there are new books coming out and everything, I put those on there. So if you need resources about gender identity and faith, that's a great place to go. On Twitter and on Instagram, I'm Austen Lionheart. And on YouTube, I'm also Austen Lionheart. So the only place I'm Austen Hartke is on Facebook. Bam.
Well, your branding is just shit, isn't it?
I know. Every time I talk to you guys, you're like, you gotta change it all so it's all the same. And I'm like, but...
I'm not saying it has to be the same. I'm just saying it's gonna be like a little... It's like, is your last name Lionheart? It's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, for real. Actually, do you want to know how I got that? Because sometimes people are like, why are you the Lionheart? That's kind of like that's a little bit egotistical or whatever. Okay, so here's why. My first name, my first name, and my last name were an anagram for Ask Lionheart. And I was like fiddling around with an anagram thing one day, and it came up with that, and I was like, that's awesome. And so even though I changed my first name, I still really like the Lionheart part.
That's dope.
Yep.
You heard it here first.
Yep.
Pick up Transforming, subtitle, The Bible and the Lives of Transgender Christians. I'm so shit with titles and names in general.
I'm really bad.
Follow Austen on all the things, and we're also going to be doing a video over on Austen's channel where I'm talking about my own things about gender.
Yeah, gender.
And it's gonna be a treat.
It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna make him talk about uncomfortable things, but like in a healthy growth.
In a healthy, growthful way.
Yeah.
Growthful?
That's not a word.
Yeah, you know what?
Growthy?
Listen, I graduated summa cum nothing, so no one's expecting anything. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can become a supporting partner on Patreon. All the links are below. Do that. Share this with a friend. Share this with a trans friend who may not feel that they can be trans and Christian. Share this with your parents if they don't know anything about the transness. And comment below. What do you think about all of this shit? Okay, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
That was silly and I enjoyed it.
Good.